Greetings, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you are tapping in from. You have to keep in mind that Keep It P podcast is a global show, and today we'll be discussing NAACP President slams Biden's plan to cancel $10,000 in student loan debt. It's like pouring a bucket of ice water on a forest fire. One, is that $10,000? That's not reparations, is it? That ain't just for black people, is it? You're like trying to fight for everyone, right? That's 10,000 for everyone, right? I thought you were colored people. Oh, and forest fire. What's the forest fire to you, sir? What in the black community are you referring to as the forest fire, sir? Explain that. Those are the questions we have. What this isn't reparations, is it? We'll talk about that and more when we come back on this episode of Keep It P Podcast, the Akuna Matata Hour Edition.
Von Savage Media. Von Savage Media. Von Savage Media. Von Savage Media.
All right, y'all. I'm not even gonna waste your time. It's a longer intro, so I'm gonna just get right into it. This fella on the screen is Derek Johnson, NAACP president. You see him right there. We don't do no disparaging on this program. But if you were subscribed to keepitpraw.com, yeah, this story would be way different. Make sure you take the opportunity to sign the petition zeroantiblackracism.com. It's right there on the screen. Una Matata before you. Biden is reportedly planning to cancel $10,000 in student debt for those making under 150,000 smackaroonies. NAACP President Derek Johnson criticized the plan, saying it's not nearly enough. It's pouring ice water on a forest fire. Black borrowers on average have $53,000 in debt after graduation, nearly double white borrowers. These are facts, right? You guys like facts, but they never want to talk about these facts. Joe Biden. Hold on, y'all was pushing NAACP. Wasn't y'all in support of Big Daddy Jose? Didn't y'all do that? Right? Y'all did that, right? Y'all was pushing like he's gonna look out for us this time. Didn't you say that? Right? Oh, let me get it. The next time on the next term, he'll let us. He'll look out for us, right? Oh, okay. He's planning to cancel $10,000 for student loan borrowers, and not everyone is happy about it. Look at those blacks; they're never happy. That's because you try to ring around the rosy everything. Just talk about the reparations. Stop trying to dilly dally 10,000 here, 25,000 fake Rockford, Illinois deposit on a house, Evanston, wherever it's at, it's fake. Illinois, that's fake, not reparations. And wherever other fake reparations, California and all these other studies to study to get another committee to study HR 40 years later. What are y'all talking about? No, that's why focus, stay focused. No, but you want to always talk about something else. Derek Johnson, president of the NAACP, criticized Biden's plan, a $10,000 write-off for those making less than 10,000. That's all that is. Come on, man. You the one that was pushing for it. Now you're mad. Making less than 150,000 per year, according to the Washington Post. On Twitter, Johnson suggested that the plan does not address a meaningful amount of debt, especially for black borrowers. You think who are typically burdened by more of it. You think you fig- you figure that all out on your own, huh? Hello, McFlizzle. Shout out J Lava. Not trying to tell you what to think, trying to show you how to think. Hello, McFlizzle. Anybody there? Canceling 10,000 in loan debt is like pouring a bucket of ice water on a forest fire, he said, tagging Biden's at POTUS Twitter account. Boy, you really showed him. He really read him, didn't he? You didn't do nothing. You might as well not said nothing. You look like a goofy. And that's why I'm pointing it out to y'all. We don't do no disparaging, but if you look like a clown, put the nose on. Johnson had previously urged Biden to forgive at least 50,000 in loans per borrower, saying that student debt is a. This is what I'm talking about. You talk about black up further. It's like pouring a bucket of virgin on the black. It's a it's especially for black borrowers who are typically burdened by more of it. You'll say black there, right? You say black. Then you'll come down here and you'll say he urged Biden to forgive at least 50,000 in loans per borrower. See, that's you lobbying for everyone. When the Asian caucus, when the AAPI, when they lobbied for the crime bill, you know what it was called? It wasn't just called the crime bill. It wasn't called the American crime bill. It wasn't called the everybody crime bill. It's the Asian crime bill. Right. So, you be better off talking about something specifically for black borrowers. But y'all don't want to do that because you're scared. You're scared. And you're getting paid off. You're scared to get the faucet turned off on you. See, see. saying that student debt is an economic and racial justice issue that grows worse with inflation. But you're talking about everyone though. So if he forgives 50,000 in the debt, they only owe, you said, half. So we owe 53. You said that's double what they owe. So that's like 26 and a half. So if you give them 50 in forgiveness, that don't even make sense, right? So since it's different, why not say it's different and ask for something specific? Well, we asking for something specific. ZeroAntiBlackRacism.com. Sign the petition. Reparations. We are seeking it. No sugarfooting. Straight down the middle. Not a grant. Not a loan. Not a community center. No. It is the single best way you can drastically reduce the racial wealth gap, all with a stroke of a pen. How if you're doing it for everyone? How? If everyone's getting the same 50,000, how's that reduce the racial wealth gap? How? If they get 50 and we get 50, don't that just keep us in the same positions we're in? Wouldn't that keep the wealth gap the same? So in order to change that, we would have to get something that I got an idea that they don't get. Right. Just how they benefited off of slavery and we didn't get nothing in return. See? So it has to be a deal where we get something and nobody else gets it. See? Yeah. That's how it has to work. Sorry. I know you busters are scared to lose your little position, to lose your little kibbles and bits that you get to sell out your people, sir. Since Biden's plan to cancel uh, student debt has been in the works, the NAACP and other advocacy groups, who cares about the other advocacy? Listen, we're talking about what we got going on. It's nothing wrong with focusing on the concerns of your community. Other races do it. Latinos, they talk about Latino stuff, P. Immigration and DACA. And see, they talk about that and they're concerned with that, right? We get up to the mic and we ask for everybody's stuff for everyone. We just want everybody to have stuff. No one else gets up there and says, we just want everybody to have stuff. No one else does that. When it's their time to shine, they get up and ask for their crew. That's what they do. So along with the NAACP and other groups, they've been outspoken on the disproportionate impact student debt has on borrowers of color. Here we go with the color. You go to the AAPI, the Asian joint. They talking about Asians, bro. They not talking about people of color. You go to the McDonald's, they ain't talking about black and brown. They talking about brown. If they talking about brown, because quite a few of them talking about, I know a black, I know a brown. So right after you get done saying about borrowers of color, so you're including everyone of color, and Johnson said this, so after he gets done talking about that, Johnson cites a 2006 Brookings Institute study that found black borrowers. So you use what's going against us. You use our pain, our tragedy, our lack thereof. You use that to go panhandle for stuff for everyone. You use these numbers about black borrowers, and then you go ask for money for everyone. On average, the black borrowers, they're 53,000 in debt after graduation, nearly twice as much as their white counterparts. Yeah, you guys have said that. Right. So then why would you be trying to get them 50,000 in forgiveness when they only owe 26,000? It don't even make sense. Why Wisdom Cole, oh my goodness, NAACP's National Director for the Youth College Division, previously emphasized the significance canceling student debt would have in helping close the racial wealth gap. How if you do it for everyone? How? If you do it for everyone, how? Can anybody explain that to me? Anybody in the chat? If you give everybody the same amount, how does that close the racial wealth gap? Please explain that to me. If we are trying to level the playing field, how are you leveling the playing field if everybody gets the same 50,000? If we are trying to level the playing field in the future and folks are disproportionately taking out more debt than their white counterparts or their peers, who's their peers? Or their white counterparts or their peers? Is that the Mexicans or is that other colored people? Well, you're asking for stuff for them. So what are you talking about? How? Why would the debt be different? You asking for everybody. So we pay all the most, but you're asking for the most for everyone. That doesn't sound like a level playing field to me, right? But you're asking for everyone. You won't say, can the black borrowers get some money? You never once said that. You said how down in the dumps they are. You said how much more they owe than everyone else. You said that. But not one time did you say, well, that's who needs the money. Can we get some money? You never once said that. You said, can everybody get some money who owes? That's what you did. That's what you said. The burden of student loan debt has on communities of color, and specifically how the student loan industry was created to give everyone an equal shot at a higher education, but ended up doing the opposite of shouldering minority borrowers. Here we go with minority again. Borrowers with huge debt loads that cannot afford to pay off. No, black has on communities that are black, because you just said the peers, you said the white counterparts or their peers. Well, you can't be talking about other black people because they're in debt on the average of 53,000. So you're talking about peers, other colored people that aren't black. So then they don't need it. Now you're saying minority borrowers, you're saying color communities, but then you won't say black. Until it's here we go. Education Trust, a nonprofit, launched the National Black Student Loan Debt Study last year, found that 51% of black borrowers have yet to see positive returns on their debt. Then why won't we ask for loan forgiveness for black borrowers? What's wrong with saying that, NAACP? Ain't that who you for? Black people? Ain't that who that colored people are supposed to be for? Or are you the National Organization for Asian People? Or are you the National Organization for... Hold on. You trying to advance Mexicanos, fam? Is that what you... Huh? Is that what you talking about? It goes on to say 66% of them regret ever taking out loans, deeming them unpayable, not worth it, in a lifetime sentence. You're talking about black people. This ain't you talking about minorities. You're making very specific to talk about the misery of the black people. These are all black people. But when you talk about the relief, it's minorities. It's communities of color. It's never black when the relief part comes. When the tragedy comes, black. When the relief, when the reparations, it's minority, communities of color. Blah, blah. Some old buster lawmakers calling for 50,000 in debt for everyone. Look, stimulate the economy. Them is your good old Democrats, Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren. Right. They're talking about for everybody. Same as you, NAACP, all while you try to hide it, like you not talking about everyone, all while you're tiptoeing all around it by using black statistics. Uh, so these busters have long been calling for Biden to cancel 50,000 in student debt for federal borrowers, not only to help stimulate the economy, but because that amount would be much more meaningful to black borrowers than Biden's 10,000 forgiveness campaign pledge. Do you see him lying right to your face? Well, that 50,000 to be better for black people. Oh, why we gonna give it to everyone though? Ain't 50,000 better than 10,000 black people? Huh? Vote for Biden. 50,000. Come on, black people. It's going to stimulate the economy, Craig. You're just going to stimulate your mind, Craig. Stimulate the economy, black people. It's going to stimulate the economy, black people. And ain't 50,000 better than 10 black people? Data recently obtained by Warren's office, Elizabeth Buster Warren, and provided to Insider found that 50,000 in relief would zero out balances for 76% or 30 million borrowers and would reduce the share of black people with student debt from 24% to 6%. Hold on, but did you see the zero out? For them. Ain't that what I told you? Why he asking for 50,000 for us, that don't even cover. We still gonna be in debt with the forgiveness. We still in debt after that. While all theirs is wiped clean. They might even end up getting some money because this is a tax write-off. So then you're gonna write off 50,000 in debt off of your loans, but you only owe 26,000. That's what they said. The average white borrower is only 26,000 in debt. They're going to give them $50,000, and while we're 53,000 in debt, we just going to get 50. So after we'll still be in debt. 76% of them going to zero out, P. Zero. Narrowing the black white gap. How? How does that make sense? If you forgive everybody, black, white, Latino, Chinese, everybody's dead. But we still got debt after that. You forgave theirs, but we still got debt after that. So they got zero debt, clean credit, because they got zero debt. We still got debt. I don't. It don't take a tinfoil kufi for that one. They wanted you to believe that. The Congressional Black Coon Caucus recently called for broad-based cancellation following the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. You can't have nothing for yourself, can you? You guys are just the scariest. You just won't ask for nothing. Recently called for broad-based cancellation. That means for everyone. So when we ask for something, once again, like I said earlier, to reiterate, if you're just tuning in, I already said, black organizations, we go and we ask for stuff for everyone. When the AAPI goes ask for something, it's for Asians. When the Hispanic Congressional Hispanic Caucus goes and asks for something, guess what? Guess what? It's for Hispanics. Did you know that? When the Congressional Progressive Caucus, you know when they ask for something, guess who it's for? The progressives. Right. So in your organization, usually when you ask for something, the name of the organization who you represent, that's who you're asking for something for. Our black organizations don't do that. In order to cause for meaningful action on the growing student debt crisis, it's a crisis now. I thought it was us that were in debt. I thought we were the ones all in the most debt. I could have swore you said the black people had all the debt, the most of the debt. So the crisis would be us. I thought you called it a forest fire. In order to reduce the racial wealth gap and advance a just and equitable economic recovery for all, we must alleviate the burden of student debt for everyone, though. So how does that? I don't. Black Caucus Chair Joyce Beatty said in a statement, "Nothing is off the table except inaction, and obviously reparations." What is reparations? None of what they talking about is reparations. You wanted to know what is reparations? I titled it, What is Reparations? Because every time they try to do something, I want you to know, no. The answer is no. Tell them no. We don't want it. You know what we want? Reparations. Sign the petition. ZeroAntiBlackRacism.com. That's real. We talking about tangibles. What tangible? Cold, hard cash, baby. I ain't gonna hold you. Just gonna mold you, fold you, and scold you about being on cold, because I done told you. Right? Leave you with 4 words. Love, peace. You need both in your life now. Sometimes you need this peace to achieve this peace. And sometimes you need this peace to keep this peace. You heard me? Blessings. Give some, collect some, want some, have some, need some. Huh? Everybody need a blessing now. Everybody. And Maloha, y'all. That's high and that's by now. It's all together because it's never ending now. It's never ending. Always together now. Always together. Now, I've been telling y'all about this petition. Kendra gonna tell you more about it. If you got questions, here you go now.
Be one to the family. This is Kendra Blackwood of Hot Lava Music TV and the Hot Lava Media Group. And I come to you today with an urgent call to action. And with that being said, this petition is to demand the US government immediately make anti-black racism a public health crisis is now an active campaign at change.org. And after this message, I'm going to need you to go over there and show your support. Right after you smash that like and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications. It doesn't cost you a thing. Now, this is a petition to demand cash reparations for foundational Black Americans addressing 2 critical components. So what is anti-Black racism? Anti-Black racism is defined here as policies and practices rooted in American institutions such as government, finance, education, healthcare, and justice that mirror and reinforce economic deprivation, racially targeted laws, beliefs, attitudes, prejudice, stereotyping and/or discrimination toward foundational Black Americans. What is a public health crisis, you ask? Well, a health crisis or public health crisis is a difficult situation or complex health system that affects humans in one or more geographic areas, from a particular locality to encompass the entire planet. Health crises generally have significant impacts on community health, loss of life, and on the economy. and ultimately the solution to the problem. It is imperative that the United States government declare anti-black racism a public health crisis for foundational Black Americans. In 2020, as a community, Asian Americans experienced only 287 hate crimes nationwide. However, FBA in the same year suffered 2,871 reported hate crimes. As we know, those are just the reported accounts according to the F.B.I. As foundational Black Americans, we know that the number should reach in the billions daily. This resulted in a 94-1 unanimous decision to pass into law an anti-Asian hate crime provision to make Asian a protected class. With anti-black racism being thousands of times more prevalent and permeating within the fabric of America, we ask that you sign this petition to say we are sick of studies and commissions to study forums and meaningless holidays and nothing burger symbolic gestures. We demand the U.S. government to urgently disperse the first initial reparations cash payment of $20 trillion to the surviving descendants of American chattel slavery. AKA, cut the damn check. And I mean that. Jack. On my ancestors for real for real. I proudly digress. Anyway. Check out the new Slave Patrol documentary. Pull up season on you sucker MCs. Don't forget to join us on Patreon. I got 4 words for you. Go grab a shirt. And love, peace, blessings and Maloa. Be one.